I read it from a reputable Green Team site. This is from the CelticsBlog.com, right, Murray?
Correct.
Okay. Bobby Manning wrote this the other day, and it was just a survey of the players that came out of the third lottery position. Not the third pick, but the teams that started with the third lottery position and what happened. He said,
this is Cousin Anthony. Welcome to the Bobcast.
I'm going to bomb this.
So that's where I got it from, Dave, just by the way.
Hey everybody, it's the Bobcast. We're back today with Matt Gonick. Matt, I just got off the internet and I couldn't believe it, but I was watching that lineup and there's an array of great videos out there from that Little League World Series back in 2009, and they go through all the players, listing their favorite players' names, and you had none other than Kevin Youkilis as your favorite. I mean, everyone was rolling through Albert Pujols. Ryan Howard was big at that time, but you had Kevin Youkilis. What was it about Kevin Youkilis that stuck out to you 8 years ago?
I mean, I actually down in Pawtucket when he was still playing for the Paw Sox, I actually went down and saw a game where he was playing, Jacoby Ellsbury was playing. So just like knowing like that I've seen them play in person before they made it big, like he automatically was like one of my favorite players on the Red Sox. And so like I kind of wanted to be a little bit original because I know everybody was going to be saying like Albert Pujols during that time, like David Ortiz, all those types of players. And like, I don't know, I just really like Kevin Youkilis. He's Jewish. I'm Jewish. We actually have the same birthday too. So I felt like I was like kind of connected to him like that. So I was just like, sure, like Kevin Youkilis. I actually switched it up too. Once I actually got to Williamsport, I switched it to Ichiro, but I don't know. Something was going through my mind where it's like, actually, I like Ichiro this week, so I don't know.
Well, welcome everybody back to the Bobcast. We're here for another episode, our first out of Syracuse, and with us today, we have a member of the 2009 Little League World Series Peabody West team. I want to throw it back. Normally we do aspiration to accomplishment on here. We're kind of throwing it back this time with an accomplishment in your past. And this team was out of Peabody West, and I'm sure not a lot of people know where Peabody is listening to this. Some people probably do. Some people are probably from Peabody listening to this. But you got three parts of the city when it comes to the Little League baseball teams. You got the National, you got the American, and then you got the West. And the West has just always been that team. Having that, like they are the only team that is driven deep out of there into state play, into regional play, and then, of course, the last team being that 09 team that got into the Little League World Series.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like while we were like all in Little League, it was just a special, like, I feel like tradition where like Peabody West sometimes would just like usually just be expected to win like the district, expected to win sectionals, and then just make it to states. Like there's kids years before me when I was like 9, 10 years old. I was seeing them play, and a lot of them made it to states, the state championship. There was another team a few years before 09 that like made it to the regionals. So like I just thought it was like really cool they're doing it. It was awesome once like we were leading up to when I was like 12 and 09, just knowing the special team that we had, and like I was like, all right, maybe we can do what the other kids are doing before us. And we obviously were very successful, and like even the years after too, we were very good. So I don't know. It was just something about Peabody West, and we had some good players.
So going into that tournament, when the team was just coming together, when did you realize you were going to be on that team? And it was a pretty loaded team, if looking back on it, with seeing where some of these guys ended up, whether it's Austin Batchelor at BC, Hosman out at UMass, a lot of other players playing college ball out there too. Even at that time, people really knew there were some special players right there. When did you realize you were going to be on that team?
I think it wasn't until like near the end of the year, because they have like the voting with like the players voted and then the managers voted. And I think once like all the players voted, I don't think I was like set in stone on the team. And I was a little worried because I was just like, I knew like I played on the same Little League team as like Trav and Haas. So I knew they were making the team, so I got a little anxious, and then finally I think the coaches voted me in there at the end of the year, so I was happy about that, and I was ready to go.
So what was the first game you guys played in that whole tournament very early on?
It was the first game we played was against Manchester Essex in the first district game. For some reason, we had a bye, so I think that's like how it does that, like how it goes every year. Like there's like kind of like a weird like set amount of teams in the bracket, so one team just like gets a bye, like off flipping a coin or something. So yeah, I remember it was like kind of technically the second round, and we were facing Manchester Essex. I forget exactly where it was, but they're coming in. I remember they already won one game, so I was like, all right, this team like is already 1-0. We haven't even played yet. I don't know what to expect, and I think we ended up slaughter rolling them. So after that, I wasn't that worried.
So during that, is that a single elimination period during that time or double elimination?
Double elimination districts and district sectionals, and I think states mixed it up sometimes, but that was double elimination.
How many games did you guys even lose during the districts and sectionals run?
We didn't lose until Williamsport. Our first loss was against San Antonio, Texas, the first game. Wow. And I think we lost like 10-1 or something, but yeah, that was our first loss.
But before we get to Williamsport, there was we got to talk about that classic game, and I feel like people from Peabody still look it up. The one against Rhode Island, the one that ultimately sent you guys to Williamsport with the walk-off grand slam. Everyone remembers that grand slam. I think people are going to remember that for a long time from Matt Hosman, the walk-off. But can you kind of take me through that game to that point? What happened before that grand slam came together?
I mean, we had already beaten this team, so we already like were going in with like a little bit of confidence. But like we knew we were the top two teams in the final, and like so we knew anything can happen basically. Like in any baseball game, a single elimination, like winner takes all, like anything can happen. So, like, I remember near the beginning of the game, like, it wasn't going so well. We were losing, like, 6-2 in, like, the fourth inning. So I just remember, like, sitting on the bench, and I was just like, all right, like, it was a fun summer. Like, It's crazy we made it this far. Like, I got to play on ESPN. I'm on the regional finals. Like, it was a very good time. And I knew nothing would have been able to replace it. So it was, like, 6-2 early in the game. Like, we weren't playing so well. I think we started off, actually, like, with a leadoff home run. I think Batch had a leadoff home run. So we started off well, and then like right after that, it was like they scored like 6 runs, and it was 6-2, and finally we got it down to like 6-4, and then I think it was the 5th inning or something. I don't know, 5th or 6th inning. No, it was the 5th inning, and I was up. I was on deck, and Sean McGrath was up with one base runner on. And it was 6-4, and he hit a bomb. It was to tie it up 6-6. And I remember after that, I was like, all right, I think we're winning this game.
Yeah.
After he hit that, like that was huge for us. And then they ended up actually scoring another run at the top of the 6th. So it was 7-6. So I was like, all right, like I still think we're gonna win it. And then that's when I was up, like the most nervous I've ever been during any at bat. I think it was like first and second, it was 1-0. We were down 7-6 in the bottom of the 6th, and I was like, if I like grounded to a double play, like we're losing. Like the summer's over. Like
worst,
this is all on me.
When you got that,
I was just like, like of course I'm like a 12-year-old up there on ESPN. Like I'm shaking. I was so scared, but granted, like obviously I ended up walking, so I was like, all right, thank God I don't have to like it's not completely on my shoulders. And then Matt Corielli right after me, he walked, and then Hawes was up. He was batting like 800 in the regional, so I was like, all right, Hawes is up, bases are loaded, like it's all over. And I was on second base. I just remembered the pitch coming in, and he just swung, and it was a bomb right off. Everybody knew it was going right off the bat. I just turned around, and from then until like at home, like when Hawes, like it was like I all like blanked out. I was just like, it was crazy. I don't remember from second home.
You've played a lot of baseball in your life, even after that, playing for Peabody High. At this point, where does that rank, that Rhode Island game, among all the games you've played in your life?
Oh, I mean, I played like plenty of fun games in high school, like throughout my years. Like it was great, but like nothing can really like match up to that game. Honestly, like it was the funnest game. Like the ending was just like nuts, and the fact that like I got it to do with like a bunch of kids I've been playing with for like my whole life up until that point was like, it was special. I don't think anything like any other game like would never top that.
I want to ask you, too, what was it like being on ESPN that young, like national TV? Did you get to meet anyone cool from the network? Were you interviewed by anybody cool during that time?
I think Mike Mussina was there, and I think we got to, talk to him, a little bit. I remember the dude from that Hannah Montana show, Rico, that guy, yeah, I forget it. He was there. He was, the guy kind of promoting it throughout the year. So he was always with a bunch of the teams doing funny stuff, and we got to meet him. Nobody else really, honestly, because it actually bummed me out because I remember the next year Nomar Garciaparra was there. Yeah. So everybody was just oh, that would have been awesome if we were there and we could have met Nomar. Everybody loves him. So yeah. But lately they've been blowing it up a lot, even with the MLB game that they have, the Little League Classic, and they're really pushing to get the Little Leaguers to meet all these famous people, get them out there, which I think is really cool, which they were still doing back in 2009, but I don't think not to the extent that we're doing right now.
Come up, yeah, no doubt. Mm-hmm. And so after that Rhode Island game, when did you guys ultimately leave for Williamsport?
I think we left the next morning out of Bristol, Connecticut.
And you got your new jerseys and everything like that? What was it like when you first arrived there?
Oh, it was just because what everybody says is I watched the Little League World Series before, 2009, and it was just even leading up to it, I was just all right, Williamsport is still a crazy destination. It was still we still need some luck and a lot of hard work to get there. And when we finally got there, I was wow. I was we're actually, it was kind of surreal at the point. So it was just unbelievable once we rolled in, and we had a bunch of people helping us out, seeing all the other teams walking around. It was just it was unimaginable. It was just crazy to put in, it's tough to put in words.
So in that group play, I think you guys were with California, Kentucky. You had some pretty loaded teams in your group that year. What was the first game you played in the tournament?
The first game we played was against Southwest, which was the San Antonio, Texas team. And obviously we lost that game. And the next game was against Chula Vista, and they ended up winning the entire thing. Mm-hmm. But we ended up losing to them 12-2, and then we faced Russellville, Kentucky, and we beat them. So we actually ended on a high note, which was great.
What was it like versus some of the best teams in the country? You guys blew through the sectionals and regionals, and then even New England's, and then you go up against these teams that are just on the next level.
It was kind of I mean, baseball up here is very good, but it's a little different out in California and Texas, warm places like that. It's a little different. So it was kind of not a smack in the face, but it was just all right, you're in Williamsport now. You're facing the top guns from all over the country. So when we had to face Texas, they were a great team. I think they ended up making the national championship. They were a great team, and it was just it was a lot different. The pitching, we had faced Luke Ramirez on Chula Vista. He was over 6 feet tall, throwing off a Little League mound, which was sort of unfair. Yeah. So it was just it was different, a lot faster baseball. It's still Little League, but there were some very good players in that.
Hold on 1 second. There's a huge spider on my screen. All right, back here talking with Matt Gonick on the Bobcast. A couple notes. We got the Banners broadcast going full speed ahead now, but we're going to be getting these Bobcasts out on a regular basis now. So keep following us. Keep following the show. Stay up to date with things. You can follow us at the Bobcast Show on Twitter. Of course, me at Real Bob Manning, and CLNS Media with their great array of shows continuing to slide out at CLNS Media. We're going to have some great shows over the next few weeks on all these different programs. Starting it off here with Matt, talking about the Little League World Series. Matt, you got an RBI in the Little League World Series, didn't you? I think I was watching some of the tapes. There's a lot of great tapes of that team up. I think JJ's mom put them up or something like that.
Yeah, she put them on YouTube.
Yeah, so all that stuff's up on YouTube if you want to check out this team from back in the day, 8 years ago now. You got an RBI in the tournament. Was that your favorite moment? What are some of your other favorite moments from being out in Williamsport?
Out in Williamsport, that was pretty awesome because it was a tie game. We're in bases loaded, and I ended up just it's a little like weak flare, but I mean it hits a hit. So, and I got a couple RBIs, so I was very excited after that. That was obviously a huge moment for me in at the Little League World Series, but it was awesome actually winning our final game too, because like we all knew like this is our last Little League game of our careers, so it was just like, what better way to end it off, like playing on ESPN, playing in Williamsport. So just that whole entire game as a whole, I say like was probably my funnest experience there. Also, like obviously facing the Chula Vista team, facing Luke Ramirez, because I still have people to this day like that somewhat watch Little League World Series. They say like they always bring up like, oh, like that like big kid from California, and I'm like, oh, is it Luke Ramirez? And they're like, yeah. Like, even like people remember that name. And
did he end up playing college ball?
I don't remember. Like, I'm not 100% sure. I know his there was another player that's playing, or he was playing at Pepperdine. I don't know if he still is in California, but I'm not sure where Luke is. And I ended up bad against them, and granted I ended up striking out, but yeah. I think it was pretty cool to say that I faced them. So I thought that was cool. He looked like a big leaguer out there.
Yeah. And that team ended up going on to win it all, you said, right? Mm-hmm. So you ended up going home. How late in the summer was it when you guys ended up going home?
It was like a week or so, I think, before we ended up going back to school, because that was around when at like the middle school they were like posting the clusters, which they do like a week before school, I think. So I remember like getting home and like the next day or two going to see that. So I think it was like a week left of summer.
What was it like when you guys got back to Peabody? Did they throw you a parade? Was there like a big event celebrating it?
I mean, we were at the International Festival. We were honored at a few different events like that. I don't know if they had like they had a parade out of Peabody to go to Bristol, like a little like mini parade. But since we went straight from Bristol to Williamsport, like there wasn't much of a parade for us. Yeah. And then once we left Williamsport, like we all just went individually home. But I mean, we were honored at like the Labor Day baseball game that used to. I don't know if they still do that, but the firefighters versus like the old timers.
Yeah,
we were honored there. They still do that. Yeah. All right. So we were honored there, and there were a few other things I don't remember exactly, but yeah, they put us out in the public eye. We got the plaque made for us at down at Saiteni. A lot of cool stuff.
So when you got back in school a week later, you were going into a new. What was it like when you guys were back in school the next week later? Was everyone swarming you?
It was. I mean, there were definitely like a lot of kids saying like, "Oh, like you look good on TV." Like it was still like a little surreal because we're still in 7th grade.
Yeah.
So like we still like weren't sure exactly like how big it was. It's a lot for like a 12-year-old to take in, 11, 12-year-old to take in. But I mean, there were like I got it from like a few people saying like, "Oh, you look good on TV." Like, "Oh, you like had like a fun summer." Like, and even like a couple of my teachers in 7th grade would always like just try to talk to me about like sports or about like Williamsport and everything, it was pretty cool to like be able to connect with a teacher like that when I'm 12 years old and they like kind of look at me like, "Oh, he played on ESPN," but I was just a 12-year-old, but I don't know. It was very cool experience. Everybody was talking to whoever they could in school, so I think it was pretty cool. It was a nice little like moment to be at 12 years old.
So the team ended up all over the place. Some guys playing at the highest level of college. Some guys ended up not playing in college. Did you still keep in touch with a lot of these guys?
Like sometimes here and there, like if I run into them in public, because we all live around, we all live in West Peabody, which is like we're all like very close in proximity to each other. So we always like run into each other like out at like any food shop around us. I always talk to them to see how things are going. I actually played a little bit of summer baseball this year with Mike Pichicino, so I got to talk to him a little bit there. There are some that like probably talk a little bit more, but I still like people still like reach out here and there to talk, because I mean we still all want to stay close together. Like concerning something like that special that we did, we don't want to like drift apart, basically.
Yeah, no doubt. So can you believe it's 8 years ago now? Probably 8 years almost to the day, you guys coming back and jumping into school. Are you thinking about it, maybe like a 10-year anniversary, 2019?
Maybe, I don't know. Like that, I was just thinking about that. It's been flying by. Like I can't believe it was 8 years ago. Like that's a long time ago, because there's been a lot of Little League World Series since.
Yeah.
There's been 8 of them. So I don't know. Like maybe once it comes 10 years, when we're all like out of college, when we're not like as busy, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But I feel like we will eventually have some like. I don't know, something like that, like a 10-year anniversary, 15, 20 years, something like that. We have to.
Well, it was. I gotta let everyone know I was your teammate on the good old Mets back in Baby.
You were.
Got to see you strut your stuff on the mound, on center field. What do you think of? Let's reminisce about our old Mets team. What do you like about it?
It's a great time.
There were some good characters on that team. We had Capuccio. We had his dad coaching that team. Good old Joe Basora.
Joe Basora himself was a character.
Oh, man. Where did that rank among your favorite teams? That had to be number 2 to the Little League World Series.
Oh, it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there. I mean, I loved Babe Ruth was fun. I mean, I still wish a lot more like players that like I played with in Little League, a lot more just people in Little League in general that played Babe Ruth. I just kind of wish that, but like it was still very fun. I loved like, because it's all your friends are playing. It's not like very serious, but people still want to win. So I don't know. I thought it was I loved those Babe Ruth years with the Mets and Joe Basora, all of them. It was fun. It's always fun.
I feel like you really helped me get to a new level in baseball too, because I was just starting off at that point. I think my 13-year-old year was really like my first year really getting into the game. So between like 13 and 15, like I went from like probably hitting 0 to hitting like 275 my 15. So that was a good like growing experience for me. Yeah. Let's cap it off. You still playing baseball today?
Not right now. Like I said, I played in the summer, but it was mostly just like a senior Babe Ruth team that me and my friends put together. We just, it's not like we just like playing. We just all like playing. It's mostly kids that like didn't even play in high school. There are some that like played a little bit in high school, whether it's like freshman and JV, maybe varsity. But I played that during the summer, but I'm not playing at Bentley. Yeah. So that's really the only baseball that I'm doing nowadays.
So Bentley, you're out at Bentley starting your junior year, I think it is.
That's right.
What are you working on out there? What's it like out there?
I mean, they're keeping me busy. They're really up on you when it comes to applying to internships, getting like your resume like checked out, make sure it's like up to date, make sure you have all the correct stuff on it, cover letters, how to write them. They're really on top of you, but I love the career service this year, especially when you get to like sophomore, junior year, when you're really looking into internships and like jobs and stuff. So they're keeping us busy, and of course classes too. It's a lot of work, so I'm definitely busy.
What career are you pushing toward again?
I don't know exactly what. I'm an economics finance major here. I don't know exactly what I want to do. Maybe something in like financial services, like maybe like an advisor, or I've looked into like analyst positions. I don't know. I'm still kind of lost. So
all right,
I'll fill out a few other categories of finance and economics, anything like that.
All right, let's cap it off with a fastball. I got a big one to close it out. What ultimately do you think baseball meant to you in your life and all the years you played?
Oh, I mean, it plays a huge role in my life. Like from Little League, just all those kids from the Little League World Series. Like I'll forever just be close with them just because of like what we did. And then like just being like friends with them, just like the levels it took me brought me to play on like a national level, like in ESPN, which was a great experience. And then even throughout high school, like I loved playing like on Peabody High's baseball team. I have a lot of friends from that team. I think we were all like very close to like there
those
weren't
some good
problems.
Teams.
Yeah, like we were good. We competed and we all stayed together. Like there was no drama really. So I loved that. And then like even into, like I said, like with the summer ball I've been playing, just like with my friends. We just play baseball during the summer, and it's nothing serious. So I don't know, baseball throughout my life. I don't know. It's played a big role in like a lot of my friends nowadays. I met through baseball, no matter what, whether Little League, Babe Ruth, high school, summer baseball, anything like that. So I don't know. It's still going to continue being a big part of my life, even if when I get a little older and I can't keep up, maybe a little bit of softball. But I don't know. Like baseball's been very good to me. So it's been a lot of, like I said, a lot of friends I made, a lot of great times. So a lot of like times that me and my friends would just be talking about like random games, random plays. Like it's played a large role in my life.
All right, there we have it. Matt Gonick reminiscing on the 2009 Little League World Series team. It was good to chat with you, man. It'd been a while, so it was fun, too. Thanks for coming on.
It was awesome catching up with you, Bob. Thank you.
All right, enjoy your year, man. We'll talk soon back in Peabody.
Yep, for sure. We'll stay in touch.
All righty.
I'm going.
So that's where I got it from, Dave.
Bobcast.